Deanna at Deanna Style, and today we are here at Kennedy Space Center. This is our first trip to the Space Center and we are being hosted by them today. My children are so excited to be here. I don't know what to expect. I've never seen a rocket ship in person before and I am claustrophobic, so being an astronaut is totally out of my league. But I am so interested on what today has to offer. I know that this is going to be an amazing experience, an educational experience, and I really just want to dive in and see it all. I want to see how they train. I want to see what the rockets look like. I know it's going to be a fun day, and thank you for following along with me, and I hope you like everything that we did.
So the first rocket we'll look at is that white and left rocket in the back of the garden with the UV on the side, called a Juno rocket. This is what America used to send our first satellite into space. It was called Explorer 1. That was our common spot. That Explorer 1 was the scientific satellite when they neither countdown. And those are used because the radiation in the air. It was his professor by the name of Dr. James Van Allen who got this idea that there were bands of radiation.
Okay, so we just got on the bus so we can head over to see all of the space shuttles. I think Artemis is over there, and we're gonna grab some lunch because everybody's hungry, right? Yeah, everybody's hungry.
Aeronautics and Space Administration. You see that yellow object with number 1 on it? That is one of 6 of our Perseus 4 stations. And that side is now where some of you will be.
I wanted to be like them. They had courage, imagination, and no problem ever stood in their way for long. You know, in the end, when we actually did send men into space, it turned out that those were exactly the qualities it took. I'm John Hudson. This is Pad 39 of the Kennedy Space Center. I was a launch controller here, but from this very spot, man took off to fly to the moon. It was a journey that began 12 years before that rocket ever left the ground. And it started on the other side of the world. Back then, we were one of 2 superpowers that always seemed to be on the edge of a terrible war. In 1957, the Soviet Union launched the first ever man-made satellite into Earth orbit. They called it Sputnik, which means traveling companion. And in a world where peace hung in a delicate balance, it seemed to create a dangerous advantage. Every ham radio operator in America, from one based in fear of the present to one of hope for the future.
But why, some say, the moon? Why choose this as our goal? And they may well ask, why climb the highest mountain? Why 35 years ago, fly the Atlantic? Why does Rice play Texas? We choose to go to the moon. We choose to go to the moon. We choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other thing. Not because they are easy, but because they are hard.
We hadn't been more than 16 minutes into space, and now we were going to the moon. We would have to design a rocket the size of a 36-story office building. put it together with the precision of a microscope, and accelerate it to the speed of a bullet. Then we would have to guide it to a moving target 250,000 miles away. Many people thought it was an impossible dream, but 400,000 of us set about making that dream a reality. It would be the longest, most hazardous voyage that any man had dared to attempt. But step by step, mission by mission, we orbited the Earth, perfecting the skills and technologies we would need on this incredible journey. Our astronauts practiced maneuvering, docking, and the 1,000 other tasks that would comprise the moon mission. We created new alloys, lighter and stronger than anything seen as destined to leave the shores of our planet behind and strike out across the vast ocean of space. In the great span of our history, now is the time that we could. Now is the time that we would. We stood on the eve of the longest, most dangerous journey that any man had ever undertaken. And it would be taken by Frank Borman, James Lovell, and William Anders, the crew of Apollo 8. Through those doors, you'll find the firing room, launch control, just as it was on December 21st, 1968.
Please gather all of your...
This is the firing room, launch control for the Apollo mission. This is not a bunker. These are the very consoles we developed to leave his planet behind and journey to another. It is one of those rare moments when history is not being made, destiny is being embraced.
Seconds on this next week, we're still at this time. 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9,
done with the Apollo Saturn V Center. We had some lunch inside there. Oh my gosh, everything, to see the size of it, is crazy. I don't know what I was expecting, but I wasn't expecting things on that scale, so it completely puts a new perspective on everything. But now we're headed back to the main area because we're gonna have a lunch with an astronaut and go inside everything that they have in that main area. Right now we are about to dine with an astronaut. This is an add-on feature with your ticket here at Kennedy Space Center. I believe it is $50 for an adult, $35 for children. You get an alcoholic beverage, drinks, a sampling of food. I believe they have pizza with us today. And then our astronaut is Terry Wilcutt, and he's gonna come in here and answer questions and talk to us. It is nice and chilly in here and escape from the heat, and it is a really nice room. The ceiling is really cool, and you also get a signed photo and I believe a little pendant. So let's do this.
Got drinks in there, and then you got beverages for the adults.
Brief run through my entire career. I was a math major in college, and as a kid I'd always dreamed about flying. So, I mean, that was all I ever wanted to do. I didn't know any pilots. I'd never stood next to an airplane, never been inside an airplane, not even commercial. And after I got out of college, I took a job teaching math in high school. And then I heard about the Marine Corps' Guaranteed Aviation Program. So you join the Marine, sign this contract, they would send you to flight school. And if you made it through flight school, then you could fly jets or helicopters, whatever you picked, as long as your grades were good enough for jets. And that was all the chance I needed. So I signed up with the Marine Corps, went to flight school. Fortunately, even though I'd never been in an airplane, I never talked to anybody, I had a knack for it. And then after I got out of flight school, I flew F4s in the Marines, mostly in the Western Pacific, Japan, Korea, things like that. Then I transitioned to F-18s and became a fighter weapons instructor. But like I said, I'd been through Top Gun, so I instructed fighter weapons at the F-18. And then
You got raise your hand, get us our attention, and go ahead.
So now, let me ask the first question. Okay, Terry, did you ever see any aliens in space? And so I always answer that truthfully, and that's yes, I did. I flew with 2 Russians. And they were great guys, by the way. And if you wonder about the relationship between the astronaut and cosmonauts, they're like brothers to us. I mean, we get along so well. It's not too strong a word to say we love each other. We wish some of them would leave the cosmonaut office and just come over to be astronauts. I believe their government is the evil empire, But I can tell you that people, they deserve better than that. They would give you the coat off their back in the winter if they thought you needed. I lived over there for 7 months as the director of ops in Russia for NASA. Generous people, hospitable, caring people. Their cosmonauts are professional. They're embarrassed about this latest stuff with Ukraine. See, Yuri Malenchko in the bottom left right there, he's a Russian cosmonaut. He's not really Russian. He's Ukrainian, and so he has the same feelings about this sort of thing as the rest of the world. It's pitiful. They're great folks, and so there's no problem on our level, government level. There's problems, but not down the work reviews. When we went over there to do that joint program, one of the things we hoped to do was, and it worked. The first 2 Russians that came over, they were going to fly on a shuttle. One of them was, the other guy was a backup. The first time they came over, they came here and they got a car and they drove from Houston to Florida. That was the longest drive they'd ever had without encountering a roadblock, a security stop. They went into the grocery stores there and they couldn't believe it. They thought that it was a stage set up to try to impress them. It was a fake display of how much fruit was available, how much food was available. It's not like that over there. And after they went from one to another, they came to realize that, oh my gosh. And Charlie Bolton, another astronaut, became the administrator of NASA. He had talked to the office about them coming over here. He said, we want to greet them. So we're all on intercockpit communication, so you can hear other people talking. So it's dead quiet those last 30 seconds. You might hear somebody grunt because of that pressure on your chest. The main engine's cut off, and then there's silence. As soon as the main engine's cut off, you're in 0 G. Anything that's not tied down floats up. Your arms try to float. The pencil over here may not have been Velcroed very well, and it's floating out the string. Then you hear laughter. So there's a little grunting, silence, then there's laughter. And after a little bit of laughter, then you hear silence again. And then you hear, gosh, oh my God, look at that. And that's when they've looked up all the windows, they've taken their gaze from the cockpit in front of them, and they've looked out the window. And so I just think they gasped because it's unbelievably beautiful. And a female astronaut said this first. She said, all astronauts come back environmentalists because the Earth is so beautiful. And you see it against the blackness of space. Black, the deepest coal mine pit black that you can imagine. In the atmosphere, you can see the thin atmosphere above the ball of the Earth. You can actually see the layers in the atmosphere. And that atmosphere, proportionally speaking, is thinner than the shellac on the cue ball in the game of pool. I mean, it's so thin, and you get an appreciation for how vulnerable the Earth is, and how starkly beautiful it is. And we all come back with a vow and a promise and a knowledge that we need to take better care of the planet. So it's an experience to see it. And every evening on all my crews, we assign someone to wipe the nose prints off the windows. Because anybody that has free time, they float up to the window and they stare at the Earth. I mean, universal. Any free time you've got, you go to the windows and look down at the Earth, day or night. It's beautiful. And I'm serious about the nose prints. If you look at some of the pictures from space, crews that didn't do that or didn't pay attention to it, you can see in the reflection of the glass that little nose prints on the window. So it's beautiful. And I think everybody that wants to go back, probably the main driver, the 60% of that desire is to see the Earth again from orbit. The other 40% would be to accomplish another mission that means something. It's beautiful.
One of our astronauts had an observation about being in space, and they said, when he looked back at Earth, it was not only beautiful but fragile. He said it's like looking at a newborn baby. You know that feeling? I don't know if you agree with that or what.
It's stunning. And they talk about burning the rainforest in South America. We all know that, and they say it's large-scale burning. You really can't. Johnson Space Center in Houston, the KSC for training. I fly to Ames. I use them to get around on the airways. I fly to Ames to do landing and Mars science. So just using my airplane to get to places and to stay attuned to how, be an operational person in a flight vehicle. Being a fighter pilot, you're not using your airplane to commute someplace. You're using it to try to shoot somebody down and try to blow something up. And fighter pilots like that. You get a high performance jet, and modern fighters are just incredible. I mean, the G's they pull, the thrust, the propulsion, and the things you can make an airplane do are just, and we love that. I just can't begin to tell you what it's like to pick up an adversary and maneuver into position to try to shoot them down. And if they see you and they're trying to shoot you down, you get everything. You don't want to be the limiting factor. So through airplanes that routine subsonic, the commander takes control, and we're going to land this way. So the commander flies it in a descending circle. We call it the heading alignment cone.
Right.
To the landing, and land just like that.
So you can go left down.
Yeah, you can fly left or right depending on where you're coming in from.
That's what they do most of the time.
Yeah. And that's the whole interest. We call it managing our energy, because if you don't have enough energy and you land short, you're going to kill everyone. If you have too much energy and you land long, you're going to kill everyone. So they designed the re-entry profile so that you have extra energy, but you can dip your wings and lose more of it.
everybody, that was our day here at Kennedy Space Center. We had such a fun day, and we only scratched the surface on what Kennedy Space Center has to offer. We had lunch with an astronaut. One-of-a-kind amazing experience. And we got to see all the different rockets, what the inside of a space station looks like. It's a completely immersive educational experience here at Kennedy Space Center, and I can't wait to be coming back again and again. There is so much to offer here. This is a great way to spend your day if you're coming to the area to go on a cruise, if you want to step away from the busyness of the theme parks and the Orlando area in general. So thank you to Kennedy Space Center for having us today. There are so many amazing add-on experiences here as well. Definitely plan to spend the full day here, and I can't wait to be back. Honestly, I am dreaming about my next trip, and I learned so many things today that I never knew, like I said, and I can't wait to come back and learn more. And oh my gosh, this view, you can't get this anywhere. You need to come here. You need to experience Kennedy Space Center at least once in your life, or twice, or 3 times. Thank you again for hosting us. We had an amazing day.